Hello, and welcome to Coffee Breaks with Nebraska Strong Recovery Project, where we discuss building resiliency after a disaster. My name is Lisa, and this is Sam. Sam, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you could be here. So Sam, what can you tell us about problem solving and how that applies to really resiliency after a disaster?
Sure. So as you know, I think a lot of people probably know, after a disaster, there are so many things that are on your plate that you need to take care of.
Yeah.
And so being able to create a list to problem solve is very important on what you need to start with first. How are you going to tackle these different projects? It's very important to be able to do that.
Awesome. So step one, what do we do?
So first we want to identify the problem, and this is not always the biggest problem that is what maybe someone else would say that you need to start with. This is the problem that is keeping you up at night, that is bothering you the most, that is really having the biggest effect on you. That's the problem we want to start with first.
So you sit down and you go, okay, I've got all these problems. Every time I wake up, I'm thinking about, great grandma's pictures.
Yes.
So my problem is I don't know where they are.
Okay.
Okay. So
yeah, that's the problem. We identified the problem. So then step number 2 would be to set the goal. So what do we want to accomplish on the problem that we've identified? So then step number 3 would be to brainstorm solutions. So how are we going to get these things done? So then, we want to start out, we want to make a list of 10 possible solutions of how we can work to get this problem, to get to our goal. With those 10, we want to then narrow it down to 3, our 3 best solutions that we have.
Okay.
What are our 3 best options? We want to narrow that list of 10 down to those 3.
Okay. So you pick your 3.
Yeah.
And then
step number 4 would be to create a pros and cons list of each of those solutions. So if we hire someone to restore these photos, a pro would be that we can restore the photos, and a con may be that may be expensive to do.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to make those pros and cons lists for each solution so that we can clearly see, okay, what is my best option here?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, with the pros and cons, does it work if I just kind of go through and I'm like, okay, well, on that one, this, and that? Or do I need to physically write these down?
We need to physically write those down so that we can really actually see, okay, here are the pros, here are the cons, here's my best solution, here's my best option to take.
Gotcha. Cool. So, as we're wrapping up today, Sam, this makes so much sense to me in regards to the stress management after a disaster. So, there are so many things happening. What do we do? How do I handle this? Do you have any thoughts on how this applies to the emotional side of reacting to a disaster?
Sure. So I think, like you've shared about with helping with the stress, I think that really goes hand in hand with the emotional side, because when you're able to take something that is so huge and scary and make it more organized and clearly defined, I think it really just helps you have more ease when you are able to see, I made progress on this problem that was keeping me up at night. That's going to really help you throughout the process. You're going to be able to see, I made progress on this.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's fantastic and very accurate because, with being stressed, anxiety goes up. Your patience and other things like that tend to go down. So it makes a lot of sense to be able to set things up to where you're able to see the progress that you're making.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Sam, thank you so very much for joining me today and talking about problem solving. Thank you for tuning in and watching with us. Remember, problem solving may seem very simplistic. It's nice to have a roadmap, to have a plan, to work through those things step by step. That way, with each of those steps, you get to count another victory. So just know that in response to big things like this in life, it is common to have times where you are stressed out, overwhelmed, anxious, and not sure where to go. but hopefully these steps will help you in making progress towards your goals and building your resilience. We'll see you next time on Coffee Breaks with Nebraska Strong Recovery Project. Have a great day.